Hey guys, Palas and Ramos. This Sunday, November 27th, the Miami Dolphins defeated the Houston Texans 15-30 and improved to 5-1 at home now, 8-3 overall. Houston drops to 1-9-1, 1-5 away, and Dolphins covered the spread. It wasn't so much that was not surprising in this game. Dolphins were able to, get out to an early lead, had 10 and 20 points within the first two quarters. And then, aside from that, let the foot off the gas. Halfway through the third quarter, Dolphins just pulled two out, which kudos to them. I mean, you're up 30-0 at some point. You got to take your guys out. And a lot of the starters went out, but for the most part, it was mainly Tua. Teron Armstead left with an injury, but aside from that, looking good for the Miami Dolphins. But you know who else looked good? Tua and Jalen Waddle. I mean, he kept on finding him. The defense once again has been looking better and better each and every week, getting to the quarterback. How about this throw from Tua, just finding Trent Sherfield? I know it slowed down, but that was a really quick decision by Tua. Putting the moves on to find, I believe, Darren Smythe for this touchdown. Campbell putting some pressure on Kyle Allen. I know in the preview I talked about Davis Mills. Forgot to mention that Kyle Allen was starting this game. Andrew Van Ginkel just coming out of nowhere, just getting that pick, which almost was a pick six, very close to it. I believe he got down to the 2 or 3 yard line, but it set up the Jeff Wilson touchdown, easy score for him. That's one thing we got to talk about, the running game. This game just wasn't it. Javon Holland leveling Kyle Allen with Zach Sealer coming in. This catch right here by Jalen Waddle, way to get after the ball. Just high points it, able to bring it in. We'll get another look at it too. Just look at that beauty of a catch. This is what we need from this wide receiver corps. He's hyped. He's loving it. This wide receiver corps just needs to come down with the 50-50 balls way often, more than not. Bradley Chubb, his impact is feeling, is being felt. And this fumble recovery, I mean, boomstick from Eric Rowe, and then Xavier Howard, no one in front of him, gets an easy fumble recovery touchdown. I mean, just all cylinders, offense and defense was flying through. It's not a highlight tape if we don't have Tyreek Hill. He didn't do too much in this game, but they had to show him off. Jalen Phillips and I believe Christian Wilkins combined for a sack. Defense is loving it. Guys are just getting after the quarterback. I feel like this is a really good game for the Dolphins to have right now, both offense and defensively. I mean, after the third quarter, the guys started to come off the field more often than not, especially as star players on both sides of the ball. But it wasn't like the entire, the Dolphins just put out their second stringers. No, some guys stayed in, some guys went out. But as long as they were, contributing, that was fine. But at the same time, want to save your guys for a more important game, which more often than not is going to come down the line. Especially in this game, they got up to that 30-0 lead, and that's when things started to be way more in the Dolphins' favor. Let's go over some team stats. Houston had 210 yards. Miami Dolphins 339. Dolphins forced 3 turnovers. Dolphins allowed 1. Time of possession, Houston 27 minutes 33 seconds. Miami Dolphins 32 minutes 27 seconds. First downs, this was a huge lopsided end of it. Houston 14, Miami Dolphins 25. And then let's go to the box score. So we have Kyle Allen for the Houston Texans, 26 of 39, 215 pass yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, sacked 5 times for a loss of 41 yards. I'm telling you guys, the defense was getting after it. I know a lot of what I showed was within the first 3 quarters. Unfortunately, I couldn't get the fourth quarter. But yeah, the defense was just getting on and getting after the quarterback and just doing as they please. Tua had 22 completions of 36 attempts, 299 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, sacked 4 times for a loss of 26 yards. Like 2 or 3 of these sacks were very consecutive, and that's when things started to not look good for the Dolphins in terms of, you know, they're finally getting to Tua, especially with Armstead out. Let's just get him out of the game before things get even worse. We're already up 30-0, so might as well. Houston rushing, I told you guys, need to stop the rush. Dolphins did. They only allowed 36 yards rushing, and that's kudos to the defense and the offense. Defensively, just able to stop them early in the game, and then offensively, just putting up a lot of points where you force Houston to go into a passing offense rather than a rushing offense, and that would be their better strength in terms of offensively, just putting the ball in Dameon Pierce's hands and letting him do most of the work. Derek Ugawale had 4 carries, 14 yards, 1 touchdown, long of 9 yards. Kyle Allen, 4 carries, 12 yards, 5 was longest. Dameon Pierce, 5 carries, 8 yards. Brandon Cooks, 1 carry, 2 yards. For the Miami Dolphins, not so much rushing, which is unfortunate. I really was hoping to see more of a rushing attack for the Dolphins, but with the passing game having some success, can't be really upset about it. Jeff Wilson, 13 carries, 39 yards, 1 touchdown, longest of 9 yards. Myles Gaskin, 6 carries, 17 yards, long of 10. Tyreek Hill, 1 carry, 5 yards. Skylar Thompson, 6 carries, 5 yards. Yes, Skylar Thompson got into the game about midway through the third quarter and didn't do horrible. Just couldn't make some completions happen. I mean, I don't know if I went over it, but he went 1 of 5, 6 yards, sacked for a loss of 6 yards. Just not a really good outing once he got in there. It was a little upsetting, but I understand the circumstances. The Dolphins just didn't want to out there with the possibility of getting hurt again, so just pull them out when you can. Receiving wise, Jordan Akins had 5 receptions, 61 yards, 1 touchdown, longest of 25 for the Houston Texans. Brandon Cooks was right after him, 5 receptions, 59 yards, longest of 39. Nico Collins, 6 receptions, 44 yards, long of 12. Tegan Quarantano, 2 receptions, 20 yards. Everyone else was in single digit in terms of yardage. Jalen Waddle was the leading receiver for the Miami Dolphins, but not far off in terms of yards. Waddle had 5 receptions, 85 yards, longest of 34, which was that big grab that we showed you. But lots of drops. He had 10 targets, so he caught half of the passes thrown his way. I know a few of them were from Skylar, but aside from that, just there's a few that Waddle should have came down with. It was very unfortunate, but not the easiest of catches, so can't pit the guy. And with the end result, can't go too crazy about it. In a game that maybe is more tightly contested, then you can probably start, picking things here and there that, should be better. Tyreek Hill, 6 receptions off of 9 targets, 85 yards, longest of 29. River Craycraft, 4 receptions, 55 yards, longest of 22. Trent Sherfield, 2 receptions, 33 yards, longest of 24. It felt like Trent Sherfield was going to go off this game. And then just not so much. It's very unfortunate. I would have loved to see him do a little bit more. But when you have guys like Tyreek and Jalen Waddle just commanding so much from the passer, you can't really compete with that. Cedric Wilson, 2 receptions, 26 yards. Jeff Wilson, 1 reception, 13 yards. And then let's talk about some turnovers. So we have Kyle Allen had 2 fumbles, one of which was recovered by Laramie Tunsil. And then we have Jordan Akins with a fumble that he lost, recovered by Xavier Howard. And then we have Skylar Thompson, who fumbled the ball. I believe recovered by AJ Can or MJ Stewart, one of the 2 guys. And then either one of those 2 guys recovered one of the other Kyle Allen fumbles. Not sure, but I know one of those 2 recovered one of the Kyle Allen fumbles, and one of them recovered the Skylar Thompson fumbles. Defensively, Houston, Jalen Petrie had 7 total tackles, 7 solo, 1 pass deflection. We also have Christian Kirksey had 7 total, 5 solo, 1 sack, 1 tackle for a loss, 1 pass deflection, 1 QB hit. Mouthful right there. Desmond King II had a tackle for a loss. Malik Collins had 2 sacks, 3 tackles for a loss, 2 QB hits. Jake Hansen, 1 sack, 1 tackle for a loss, 1 QB hit. Same thing for Mario Addison. And then Raheem Green had a QB hit. Then for the Miami Dolphins, Landon Roberts was the leading tackler. 9 total, 8 solo. 1 sack, 1 tackle for a loss, 1 QB hit. Jalen Phillips was right after, 7 total, 6 solo. 1 sack, 1 tackle for a loss, 1 QB hit. Zach Sealer right behind him with total tackles, but he had a 1 tackle for a loss, 1 pass deflection. Jerome Baker, 1 sack, 1 QB hit. Andrew Van Ginkel had a pass deflection. Christian Wilkins had 2 tackles for a loss, a pass deflection. Duke Riley had a sack, tackle for a loss, pass deflection, QB hit. Bradley Chubb had a sack and a QB hit. Trying to find it. Verone McKinley III had a pass deflection and a QB hit. Xavier Howard had a pass deflection and a touchdown, the fumble recovery touchdown. Elijah Campbell had a QB hit, which was one of those that I showed earlier with the videos. Interceptions, we have Andrew Van Ginkel, 1 interception return for 23 yards, and Verone McKinley, 1 interception return for 17 yards. Kick returns, Tremon Smith had 2 returns for 33 yards, longest of 19. And punt returns, same thing with Smith, 2 returns for 43 yards, longest of 26. Desmond King, 3 returns, 38 yards, longest of 19. Cedric Wilson had 3 returns for 22 yards, longest of 15. Cami Fairbairn went 1 of 1 on field goals, and that's pretty much it in terms of his kicking, longest of 28. Jason Sanders, 3 for 3 on field goals, longest of 45, 3 for 3 on extra points, total of 12 points. If you have them on fantasy, kudos to you. Now, where do both teams stand in terms of their divisions? Well, Houston's all the way at the bottom, 1-9-1. Meanwhile, Tennessee is on top, 7-4, looking like they're going to run away with the division. Indianapolis and Jacksonville are both at 4 wins. Indianapolis has 4-6 and 1. Jacksonville 4-7-1 after defeating the Baltimore Ravens this Sunday, which was crazy ending of the game while I was watching with my friend that I went to the game with. Then for the Miami Dolphins, they reclaimed the lead in the AFC East, 8-3. Meanwhile, Buffalo is the same record, 8-3. New York won today as well, 7-4. New England lost on Thursday against the Vikings, dropping to 6-5. So the race for the AFC East, as much as it's as close as it is starting to thin down a little bit. But anything can happen. You know, there's 7-8 weeks. There's 6 to 5 weeks of NFL football left in terms of regular season. So the standings are very crucial at this moment in time. Now, offensively, did not run the ball, which is very unfortunate. Had under 70 yards rushing. But with a game that Tua was having, can't complain about it. He was just slinging it around. And something I've noticed is it's very consistent how Tua performs. He just keeps on hitting pretty much the area between corners and linebackers, either to the left or right side of the field, doesn't matter where. But he's just finding that little gap within that medium yardage that he just finds his guys open, throws them open, or just makes good throws. You can't complain about it. Defensively, stopped the run, got after the quarterback. I know I said in the game preview that they got to get after Davis Mills. I literally, as I finished making the video, I'm like, dude, Kyle Allen is starting. What are you doing? Anyways, no matter who was in that backfield for the Houston Texans in terms of quarterback play, I think it wouldn't really have mattered. I feel like the Dolphins would have still been able to put out that defensive performance. Given Davis Mills being in there, might have been a little bit better for the Texans, just because there's more of a repertoire between him and the receivers and just the rest of the offense. Not sure what Houston was trying to do there with starting Kyle Allen. Probably give him some fresh blood, but just not good. So, where did the Dolphins go from here? They have the 49ers, Chargers, and Bills all on the road within the next 3 weeks. Come back home on Christmas versus the Green Bay Packers. then go on their last road game against New England Patriots, then close out the season at home against the New York Jets. So, tough stretch of games. All are either were formerly in the playoffs, in the playoff contention, whatever you want to say. 49ers are one of the top teams in the NFC West, and I'm only saying that because the Seahawks are just balling out of their minds. If not, the 49ers would be the best team in the NFC West. It's going to be a tough match. First game that Mike McDaniel plays against his mentor in Kyle Shanahan, so I think that's a must-watch game. 4 o'clock kickoff next Sunday, December 4th. And then stay on the West Coast with a game at the Chargers, same time, 4:05 kickoff. Hopefully, both quarterbacks are healthy and ready to go. This will be, I think, the first time that, first or second time that the Dolphins will face, Tua and Herbert will face off in the NFL. I'm pretty sure it's the first time, like officially. And then going to Buffalo, which is going to be a tough game. And I'm pretty sure whoever wins that game, because I'm expecting and hoping that the Miami Dolphins defeat the 49ers and Chargers. I expect them to possibly drop the game against the 49ers just because it's a very sound football team defensively and offensively. Chargers, I'm fully expecting a win. Sorry, Caesar. And, going into that game against the Bills, you very well could be 10-3, if not 9-4. And, hopefully the Bills drop a game in between. I'll check out their schedule now. But, going into that Bills game, it's going to be very tough to see what happens there. Versus Patriots and Jets, hopefully they can drop one of those games. I don't expect them to. So, Dolphins must-win games coming down the line here at the end of the season. Green Bay Packers, can never count out Aaron Rodgers. Unless Aaron Rodgers is not playing that game, I still have faith in the Packers, putting up a good performance. Then Patriots and Jets, divisional games, always going to be tough. But that pretty much wraps it up for this post-game review of the Miami Dolphins hosting the Houston Texans, defeating them 30-15. And hope you guys enjoyed it. Just wait till you guys see the game pick set. It's looking good, at least my decorations. Hopefully, Chris and Joey can come through with some of their stuff. But, hope you guys enjoyed it. It's going to be pretty sick. Anyways, that's the end of this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Dolphins improved to 8-3. Stay within on top of the division. And, it's going to be a marathon. Got to go down to the end of the season, fighting with the Buffalo Bills, maybe the New York Jets. I think New England's going to slowly fall out of the race. That's pretty much wraps it up. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.